Hello. Oh, that was weird. What's going on with my lights? Okay. Look at my Christmas tree. Isn't that pretty? Oh, you can see my ball hanging down there too. Hello and welcome, Carol Cahill. How's it going? I was just live on Facebook for anybody that follows the live Oracle and Tarot over there. So I was live on Facebook and as promised, live here with my little intermission to eat some olives because I realized that I was starving while I was over there on Facebook. I'm like, I can't go over here, make a video because my stomach is distracting me. All right, let's see if we can get some light. There we go. We got more light. Okay. Hello. Hello. And welcome to Saturday night. I'm pretty sure it's Saturday night. So, what's going on with the giant rip in the space time continuum? Right? Some people are blaming this on me right now. Yeah, I just about ate the whole. And I ate like 6 jumbo olives with jalapenos and garlic in the middle of them. So that's what I had to tie myself over so I can actually make myself something here. So I have the curtains from the Wizard of Oz, so we're going to make some magic here. Okay, what's going on with the sun? Okay, we're going to talk about that for sure. Hello, Judy and James. You can always watch on replay. If you got stuff to do, James. A friend of mine, yes. Hello, Annette. So a friend of mine messaged me a ton of messages, and when I didn't respond, the next message that came through from him was, I'm vaguely familiar with your powers, and I can't help but to ask you if the giant rip in the center of the sun is directed at you. And I'm like, who messages people stuff like that? As crazy as I am, I don't even say stuff like that to people. So interesting. I'm not sure how to respond to him, so I haven't. And my mom said, and I quote, well, just say, the answer is yes. What else you got? Okay, so it's kind of obvious here. One of my friends also just texted from my Facebook video and said, hello, put some clothes on. Okay, I got 2 layers on. This is a vintage 100% Pendleton wool sweater, and it's very thin and very beautiful. But the second I wrap up in it, I start getting hot, and then I start doing this. Okay, I'm not practicing for my role as a strip artist or anything, as someone on Facebook was hoping I might do. So anyway, yes. So let's talk about the giant rip in the sun. All right, let's start with that. Let's talk about the static electricity that giant rip in the sun is causing. Okay, and let's talk again for the millionth time about how when this giant rip in the sun is happening, we're not always seeing it. It's not always catching up with the testing that's going on. Okay, or the capability of instruments to be able to read acutely the energy of what you and I are feeling and then looking for here. So I'm going to try to not look at the comments. Ever since my live at NASA video, I've had some people come on here and say some wild stuff, even for my imagination. Okay, so let's talk about the giant rip in the space-time continuum that's happening right now in our sun. Okay, let's talk about being conscious about what we're married to, and that's coming to you because that kept coming up over and over on Facebook Live, where I was pulling oracles and tarot for people. Let's talk about the high tension that's happening on this planet due to the crown activation. The high tension is coming from the crown activation. Where to start? Are you in the hot seat right now? People around you questioning you, probing you, delving into you, or wanting to simply get a reaction out of you? And why is this happening? It's happening because of the sun. Now, I will say that they are not aware that it's happening because it's happening from the sun, but nevertheless, it is happening because of the sun. And also, let's talk about how minute misalignment is causing blockage. All right, something so minute. And I've heard it from the people that I did tarot from this whole week. well, this person's not really disruptive or negative in my life. So why is it so? Why is it a blockage? Why is it an energy that's keeping me stuck? Okay, because sometimes people can put so much energy or project so much energy towards you. Wow, I can see all the way back to my bedroom with the video with the setup this way. Um, People's projection of their energy onto you to want to get a rise out of you. It's not completely conscious for the most part that people are doing this. But this is an example of the minute misalignment and how a minute misalignment is causing a massive chaos or a massive blockage um, to you. Yeah, exactly, James. So James is saying that those gamma ray bursts at solar flares can turn DNA off, and it could also turn DNA on as well. So the first thing with this energy and this static electricity in our environment, every time we have this energy come in, and there are other alignments astrologically that play parts into this, depending on where our full moon is, where our sun currently is, and what your chart currently looks like, may point to where you're experiencing this exact maybe misalignment, or maybe misfiring in your third dimensional reality, or maybe a misfiring of your manifestation. Static electricity and our environment. So you'll hear people saying all the time, I decided to quit this job that wasn't for my highest good, or I decided to leave this relationship that wasn't for my highest good. We're always thinking on our wave of consciousness. What's the best way for my life to move forward? What's the best way to overcome blockages? What's the best way to me moving forward to the highest timeline for myself and this planet, and the highest aspected version of Tina, or version of James, or version of Eli, or version of anybody that's here watching. Okay, so we have static electricity in our environment anyway, because we have a lot of electricity and we have a lot of static. And also, we are essentially on the first wave live wires to communication outside this realm, whether that means communication with someone 2,000 miles away from you that you're not currently speaking to, whether you're communicating directly with the sun itself, or even with people that are crossed over. The static electricity amps up our psychic ability. That's the first thing that you need to know. So who was it? Lynn McDermott. Lynn sent me this picture of the sun after my last video. And here, we'll use the ribbon for an example. Let's say this was the sun, and then the hole in the center is about half the size that the rip was in the sun. What happens when we get a rip in the sun? Sun is clarity, sun is consciousness, sun is expanded energy. We have a rip in our expanded energy, right? So the static electricity builds in our environment, and the sun is one of the things that is a massive charge, or a massive contributor to that energy will stay. So we have static electricity in our environment always, and it picks up with these solar flares. Now, what I'm feeling like is going on with the sun is that there's a huge place, a huge rip, if you will, in the sun, where energy is coming through. And though maybe it hasn't ripped off anything yet, or hasn't started to stream out its consciousness, masculine energy projecting into the world, into the reality, into our sector of the universe, the change that's going to be happening with that solar discharge, more static electricity. So back to what I was saying a moment ago, we have gotten really keen on this wave of consciousness of exiting people, places, and things that don't serve the highest version of ourselves, okay? But one thing I don't think that people are thinking about, though I know a lot of people have become really sensitive to many, many things in the last several years on this ascension process. Now, the reason why I'm running my risk at wearing the sweater where I'm either wrapped up in a blanket in it or having to peel it off my shoulders is because it's 100% wool. So this matters all the time, but especially when there are solar flares. I know, like when people get dressed up, our dress clothes have a tendency to be very synthetic, and this is super important because you are supercharged and the sun is supercharged. And right now, the static electricity in our environment is supercharged. So, wool and hemp have the highest frequency as far as fabrics on the planet. So what that means is I'm doing a video, and let's say I'm doing a video and I'm wearing polyester. The Wi-Fi, the static electricity, all the things running in my home, all the things running in my neighborhood, are adding a charge to my clothing. And wool keeps you at a high frequency. It doesn't let those things come in. So while sometimes we feel the need to, put on a dress or put on a suit, those things are not going to be usually made out of wool or made out of cotton. So even though we think to consciously exit stage left from people, places, and things that are not in alignment or in a minute misalignment with us in this moment, we don't always think about the static electricity in our environment and the Wi-Fi in our environment and how some of those clothes can take the charge, absorb it, and stop it, like this wool sweater, and some things can amp it up. And even your clothes that are synthetic are holding on to the Wi-Fi in your environment and you're wearing it. So while we should be proud of ourselves for exiting stage left from people, places, and things that are not the highest version of ourselves, I will ask you to think about, especially during solar flares, what kind of fabric you're wearing. So the highest frequency out there is going to be linen or wool. And then we have cotton and hemp as well. So really, we shouldn't be wearing other fabrics other than cotton, linen, wool, or hemp. If you're like me, you're maybe not willing to part with some of your favorite things that are not made out of that, but that's the reason I chose to take and wear this wool sweater while I'm cozied up nice and tight here with my computer and all this Wi-Fi. Because static electricity from your appliances, from everything, is amplified when we have any changes in the sun. And those clothes that are synthetic hold on to that static electricity. That's why when you're walking around in your house, you can often shock yourselves. Okay. So think about it beyond ditching stage left, people, places, and things that are no longer the highest version of ourselves. Also know that certain clothing protects your auric field and the static electricity in your field. So again, wool, linen, cotton, and hemp are the only things you really want to put on your body for any kind of prolonged period. Yes. I think it's funny because when I'm at the thrift store, which is where I buy, I would say 95% of my clothes, I'm always checking the tag to see what it's made out of if I can't tell for sure. But whoever had the same taste in clothes as me the first time when they bought them also had the same problems with tags. So tags are cut. Every time I find something I have to have at the thrift store, the tag has already been cut out of it. The synchronicity of that is pretty funny. So static electricity in our environment and Wi-Fi as well, Wi-Fi signals, pinging, GPS, whatever you've got going on in your environment is saturated and absorbed into your clothing, right? And it can compound the problem or it can solve the problem. So I wanted you to know about that. So the thing about this crown activation is, again, we'll go back to static electricity. There's a lot of static electricity, a lot of Wi-Fi, a lot of signaling coming in. Even as a psychic person or an empathic person, there's going to be a static a static of information. There's going to be highly charged photons within your sphere of influence around around your body, in your house, all of that. And so this crown activation mixed with the tension of static electricity, where you could think about, sometimes the chaos that lightning provides for us as well. But this energy, this static electricity coming in when we have a crown activation means that some people's fields are like, kind of like you would hear a noise. You might hear the noise depending on what your gifts are. But what I'm saying is the static electricity, not only just coming from the Wi-Fi, but the stuff coming from the sun that amps up the Wi-Fi, and the other energy as well, is causing tension in people's fields. Now, we're all going to experience tension in our field, but many people are like, oh, I feel this thing, and so I know there's something going on with the sun, and even though I haven't found any information to clarify or corroborate that information, I feel it and I know it to be true. But this crown activation is putting us in the hot seat, because then we have everybody in our surroundings feels the tension, but most people you're dealing with do not understand what they're feeling. They don't understand this energy coming from the sun, and they don't understand that it's cutting off, reconnecting, healing, and doing things to the DNA as well. So what I've noticed in this energy, when it started about a week ago, we started getting a lot more solar flares a week ago. And again, as far as I know, you guys, I know I don't pay attention to space weather and stuff, but as far as I know, that giant hole in the sun hasn't produced anything as of yet. But in the last YouTube video, I said I was seeing the energy around the sun like 20 times stronger than the sun. That's causing a crown activation for the majority of this planet, unless you're an NPC. Oh, and by the way, I love the person who made the comment on my NPC video, saying, well, at this point, if after listening to this video, if you're not wondering if you're an NPC, anyway, it was really funny. And it's so strange. Someone had made a short video, and that I saw right after doing that video. And so if you want the answer, maybe you don't want the answer, right? Am I NPC? Maybe I just want to play along with my own internal script, my dialogue, the manuscripts coming off of the script that they're running out there. If you don't know, if you want to know for sure, you can put your hands in and out a couple times, go like this, okay? And feel. You'll feel the energy of you being a healer. You're going to feel the energy between both hands, okay? If you're an NPC and not connected to a soul, you don't have that energy in your hands. Do this a couple times. You don't have the energy there, okay? You're an NPC. I found that fascinating. I love stuff like that. You guys absolutely love it. Yeah, I know, James. I do too. I constantly hear the change in it. So the people that are around you, you yourself are going to feel this new frequency, because we're feeling the energy before the rip in the sun actually produces anything. Okay, so once again, being psychic, being empathic, having those feelers out, those feelers, that antenna to the cosmos, all which is, we can hear it. A lot of us can hear it. James and I can hear it. Okay, so, but not everybody is aware of a crown activation. Not everybody is aware of the space-time continuum rip that has shown up in the sun in the last week as well. So that means many of us are in the hot seat and dealing with the people that are not in the know, while also being in the hot seat of dealing with this energy that's giving us a crown activation and asking us to adjust and be the highest version of ourselves. And part of that is in this high tension right now, because it is a high tension, again, the solar, the Wi-Fi, and all of that combined, it's a high tension. So This crown activation, as I saw it, was like you can imagine the human anatomy, the human body, naked body in front of you with static electricity to the point that there is no head in sight, right? This crown activation actually um, is taking us out of the monkey mind. Okay, it's putting the mind aside. Um, so this crown activation, this high tension, is putting us in the hot seat of our life right now. Okay, some of us are experiencing the hot seat in a very, very extreme way. Not everybody is experiencing it in this extreme way, but you may notice that you're seeing family, friends, coworkers hashing it out in their own reality in a very extreme way, even though for you it just feels like, okay, I'm hearing something, I hear an audible static or I hear an audible information. Okay, but the sensitive people are going to feel the rip and the sun before it actually produces anything. So what this particular rip in the space time continuum from the sun is causing, what this high tension is causing, what this crown activation that's so strong, it's almost like I imagine it like a human body of static, but the head has actually been separated, right? So as not to blow a fuse. Okay. So it's like when in a fuse box situation, when something is hot or starting to overheat or an appliance is malfunctioning, what's going to happen? The circuit is going to say too much, too much, too much. It's going to flip the breaker box, right, of your fuse box. And that's set to happen that way. Interesting, this is coming up with all that's been going on in our building. I'm just now seeing the connection. Interesting that it's coming up this way. So in the fuse box, if you're blowing the hair dryer and you've got a space heater running, it's too much. So as a precaution, it'll knock out your power. And then to not have it happen again, you can't run those two things. But what I'm seeing is almost like that. Like if our head wasn't momentarily, the crown activation and the head region was not disconnected from the static, we could blow a fuse. I hope that makes sense. So high tension. Okay. Now, high tension in your auric field could mean you have a lot of energy. You want to get something, all this stuff done at once. Maybe you're like me, you're going to make 1,000 Christmas cookies. Okay. But this tension can be used to our advantage. When I say tension, I'm not saying that carries with it any kind of negative energy or negative connotation. But for somebody within your family, within your friend circle, within your job circle, who perhaps is doing things the 3D way or the way they're supposed to do or whatever, instead of doing the things the way they are in alignment, then those people in your situation with the crown activation might feel to you like they're shorting out or not making sense. Yeah. So high tension, crown activation, a lot of static electricity around the body to the point where the rewiring or the reset or this DNA upgraded almost needed to, and obviously we're not heads with lightning walking around in high tension with our head detached, but that's just symbolically saying sometimes we have to detach from the 3D or from the realm of information to acclimate to these DNA changes. Now, one of the things that's carried within this crown activation is addressing our personal issues before trying to mend or comprehend a connection with another person. Addressing our personal issues, okay, before trying to mend or comprehend our connection with another person. Now, we're not going to sit around and wait to be 100% healed of life situations, mentally, physically, or spiritually, energetically, or even etherically before we get into these relationships. But anybody really struggling in a relationship right now, It's because we're trying to understand or comprehend that other person's view of us or the situation when we don't fully comprehend or understand what our own role is, right? Okay, so being conscious of our situations, our life situations, our 3D physical reality, being conscious of those situations, cutting out people and situations that disturb our field is a huge part of this. So I can't call up, my best friend and say, well, you have all these issues, unless I come in at it from the standpoint is I see your issue and I recognize it or I resonated with it because I was there at one point. So this crown activation has a lot, everything to do with us understanding and comprehending our own personal terrain, our own personal issues, whether they be communication or whatever they are. But we have to address our own personal situations, relationship, and our relationship with self. We can't go into a relationship with someone else and try to fix that relationship if that person is not working on their own relationship with self. Now, knowing this takes a lot of pressure off you, okay? Takes you out of the hot seat, so to speak, or it should, okay? And again, I'm not saying we have to be perfect to be in loving, fulfilling relationships, but I'm saying if we don't comprehend ourselves and what we need, what is my relationship to myself, okay? Am I giving myself the food that's highly beneficial to me? Am I wearing the clothes that are highly beneficial to me that keep out the static during storms? Am I doing the kind of exercise that's highly beneficial to me, right? There's a lot of people that get into this life coaching business. And if you're not able to look at their life and see, and we don't need to have the food argument, but I'm doing what is best for my body, mind, and spirit connection. I have a good relationship. I know when I need to turn things off. I know when it's time to go to bed. I know when I don't need to be overstimulated. And we can do overstimulation. We can do things that are that good for us to eat. We can do all of this stuff on a once in a while basis. But I can't fix my relationship with you until I understand, comprehend, and have a really good grasp on what my relationship with myself is. Well, I don't know what I need from you, what I need you to provide to me in a relationship if I don't know what I need, right? So many relationship gurus will say, okay, if you want someone that climbs mountains and is a yoga instructor and lives in Hawaii, then you're going to have to climb mountains, become a yoga instructor in Hawaii, because we can't expect the universe to deliver an equal opportunity, right, in relationship if we're not giving ourselves an equal opportunity in relationship to self. Like I always go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, even though I know by 9 o'clock I'm ready to go to bed, just for an example, right? So what is my relationship to self? Do I know myself? Am I balanced, infinitely balanced in myself to know what I need, to know when to cut people off, to know when to shut my phone off? Those kind of things. And I don't have to be perfect, and I don't need to be, a space alien, and I don't need to be a relationship guru. All I need to know is how I tick and how I work and what works for me. What do I need in that partner? What do I want? What do I desire in that person? I have to be that. I have to address my personal issues before I try to mend or comprehend a connection with anybody outside of myself, right? So if you're just saying, oh, I just want this person to have a good job and I want them to be dependable, right? And I want them to have created some sort of good foundation for physical reality for themselves, then that's what you're going to get, right? That's kind of a low standard. If you talk to most people, they'd say, well, that's a standard that's a high standard, and you'll be lucky to find it. But you are the prize, right? You have always been the prize. So this high tension in this crown activation is going to be showing you, what do I need to better understand myself? Or if I better understand myself, what do I need to become more in alignment with my perfect health, right? What do I need? This is putting us in the hot seat. So I'm saying this crown activation is putting you in a hot seat. What do you need? What does Tina need? What does James need? I can't expect someone to show up for me in a solid way if I'm not taking care of myself the way I would want someone else to take care of me. I'm not saying the things in the mirror to myself that I would want someone else to say. That's a minute misalignment, which is causing a major blockage. If I look in the mirror and say, I don't like this, or I wish I had a nose job, or I wish, if I'm going to talk to myself like that, then I'm going to attract somebody that talks to me that way. And so I'm saying, addressing your own personal issues. What is my personal issue? What's my delusion? How well do I know myself? If I know what I want and I know myself and I'm giving myself what I want, then that other person is going to show me that I'm giving myself what I want. And they will show me I'm giving myself what I want by them showing me that that they can and will give me what I want and deserve. But people, even if they don't consciously know it or they're not consciously aware of it, when you treat yourself a certain kind of way, that other person knows it and they treat you that way, right? Like so and so, friend, family member, whatever, said they were going to call me tonight, say, hey, I'll call you tonight after dinner. And it's midnight, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Do we leave the phone on for that person because we think that's an important connection or there's an important conversation that needs to be had? Or do we shut the phone off and say, my quiet time is after 9:30? So whatever that person's reasons are in that moment for not showing up for me, I'm not waiting up for them. My energy is not open. I'm not open 24/7, right? Okay, I'm not White Castle. I'm not a fast food joint. I'm not a convenience store. You don't get to show up or message me or talk to me or call me or give me something only on your time. And so, how that equates for me is when people send me through any communication, this stream of communication, okay, of problems, of hard times, whatever, I don't respond to that without setting up a session or a reading or intuitive something because I'm protecting my boundaries. And it's not because I don't love people and I don't love helping people and talking to people. But if I interacted every time someone wanted to dump what's going on in their personal life with me, I would just be on the phone or on the computer trying to help people understand themselves and understand their situations and their situationships 24/7. And I am not open 24/7. Okay. I have hours of business and hours of operation. Now, if you're driving to my house from 2,000 miles away and I got to keep the light on for you and I know you're coming, there will be times that I will leave my phone on that I may be available. But that's not how I am, right? Dinner time, I'm not available unless you're having dinner here with me. It's 12 o'clock at night. My phone is not turned on because you said you were going to call me that day. And no, I have boundaries, right? So this crown activation is something that in your DNA that has always been there that says, you know what? I know what I'm worth. I am literally the prize. I speak, my words are spells. I speak into existence that which I want. And how I get what I want from other people is by being in my own authenticity and saying, nope, I work these hours to these hours. Or, I don't have, drawn out conversations at dinner time. I'm not waiting for someone to call me back to shut my phone off. I have a boundary. I'm open when I'm open. So this high tension, though, is going to have people wanting you to be open 24/7. The other thing that I'm seeing before this energy comes, just as your 2-minute warning, it's going to be more than 2 minutes, but it's the idea of the 2-minute warning is that this high tension, this crown activation is going to have people saying things to you to push on you. Okay, that may be, and most people doing this to you will not be consciously aware that they are doing this to you. They're pushing buttons like, oh, I'm so sick. Like they, instead of saying, you know what, I don't feel good. I need to get off the phone. I need to take it easy. I need to go take care of myself. Just complaining about how bad you feel. Go take care of yourself. I won't give that energy. But what I'm seeing is when this starts pounding here in our direction, which started about a week ago, but this rip in the sun that I'm calling an alteration in the time and space continuum, it's going to cause a lot of things. There's got to be a lot of people with the hangnail or an eating disorder or not enough money for Christmas or whatever it is for that person showing up and not wanting you to say, okay, well, take some rest, take care of yourself. They're wanting to tell you this just to pull you into their own high tension, right? Yeah, in the hot seat. Like someone else is in the hot seat. So let me call Tina and get her in the hot seat with me, so to speak. I just want you to be aware of that because you may feel like you need to stand up for yourself, or maybe you need to be more quiet than normal, or whatever it is. This crown activation comes with a very, very high tension. And the other part of that high tension is about using our throat chakra and speaking it and being transparent. Okay. And I made a whole video about, is it more important to just be in the energy of love and light, or is it important to be authentic? And the answer was hands down in the study of 2,500 people that they did is your authenticity is what heals you. Your authenticity is what heals other people. Your interaction in an authentic way is better than saying, oh, James, I love you. Everything's going to be okay. Oh, just, everything's going to work out fine. Instead of saying, okay, I know everything doesn't feel like it's fine, but let me share with you what helped me when I went through this, right? That's being authentic. And people were getting really upset with that and wanting to argue with me. You can't argue with the science that they did on 2,500 people. Authenticity was 4,000 times stronger than just love and light. Oh, James, everything is going to be okay. I'm here for you. Being authentic, saying, I've experienced this. Maybe there's some way I can help you, or something I can say to you, or some direction I can point you in. Okay. Because what you'll find is when you pull down that shield of protection that we all walk around with, and we're talking in our authenticity, and I may say, James, well, I have no idea what to tell you. But if we're both open and authenticity in our authenticity, then I'm automatically going to know what to say to you. Okay. And you're going to get, your intuition is going to be more connected and turned on. And then we have this energetic symbiosis that happens, quantum entanglement between two souls. Okay. Love and light, everything is going to be beautiful, James. Don't worry, is not the answer. And they have scientifically proven that. You authentically trying to help people. And I've had, especially when I started doing readings, there were a couple people that said something like this to me. But there was a man that I had never spoken to before, and then I did a reading for him on a messenger video chat. And he was like, wow. And I'm like, wow what? And he's like, you're really like straightforward, to the point, whatever. Because I told him, you need to seek legal counsel. I didn't tell him what it was about, because higher self doesn't say that. Higher self gave him 6 pages of the most beautiful reading I've ever seen, and then said, because of your talents in all these areas, you need help in another area, seek legal counsel. And then he spilled his guts. But his initial reaction to me was like, wow. I don't know if he'd had, how many other readings he had. I know people like to love and light, sugar coated, everything's going to be all right. And I was just down to brass task. Like, he's like, that's the way you are. You're like, just to it, right? You need to seek legal counsel. Does not need to be sugar coated. If you need legal counsel, you need legal counsel. How else should I say that but then to come across to you and say, hey, you need to seek legal counsel. So, but sometimes that really is shocking to people when your response is not love and light, but hey, you have a cold. Have you tried this? Have you done this? Do you want help with this? Because first, we shouldn't be helping people that don't want help. But there's a lot of high tension. And this high tension is going to drive people that are not common centered towards those who are calm and centered. Okay. So when this starts firing, and then some people misfiring, kind of synapses going on at this crown activation, high tension, being in the hot seat, some people are going to come to you and try to intentionally disrupt your peace. Like, oh, if I'm going to go through all this high tension, right, then I might as well share it and share some of it with Tina. Thank you very much. No, I'm trying to quit. Okay. But people are going to be coming to you because you're calm, right? And you're calm because you have some awareness that there's an activation, that you're downloading, that you're upgrading to something. Okay. So there's going to be two energies that spawn out of this. One is the person that might be just trying to agitate you, piss you off, or get a rise out of you. Don't let them do that. The other is they may want to suck you in instead of, like, when someone says they're sick, for example, you might want to say, hey, get some lemon water, have some lemonade. That'll help you tremendously. But what I'm reading in this energy is that people won't be coming to you because they don't have the money for Christmas and they're upset about it, or they don't have the ways and means to do something about their health. Like, they just want to talk negative. They want to express high tension in a negative way, not so that you can give them an answer to whatever it is they're seeking, but so that they can discharge some of their high tension onto you, telling you that's what's coming through. I just saw the amount of orbs that I see sitting through this camera is always stunning to me, and many times I have stopped dialogue due to that. Wow, it says there's only 3 people here, but there's like 20 comments. I don't know if you guys, hopefully it's working. The last video I did was totally unintelligible and had to be deleted. That's why I haven't been using the computer, and you haven't been seeing my house. You've just been seeing my tiny little face. Hopefully it is working. Okay. So static electricity in our environment. Be conscious of what you're putting on yourself and wearing. Like I said, you know, we have to dress up for weddings. Sometimes we're not going to put something on, but be conscious that the only fabrics that are high frequency, that are good for you, that are not going to hold on to Wi-Fi and static energy and high tension, are going to be wool, linen, cotton, and hemp. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind when this spot in the sun starts blowing, because I'm already seeing how people are going to react to it before it even gets here. There are going to be people coming to you saying, I have this problem, I need you to help me. But in reality, they're feeling the high tension. They really don't want an answer. So be conscientious of whether someone is coming to you in high tension, blowing off steam, or actually wants your assistance. And the last thing I want to talk about is how minute misalignment is causing blockage and chaos. Now, it seems like something minute would not be causing chaos or a blockage, right? But for the wave of frequency that you and I now reside, you can have 9 out of 10 areas of your life be in perfect alignment with that which you love, that which gives you joy, and have a sliver of a connection or a job or something that you're holding on to is that's a minute misalignment. And you're like, why do I have this energy of massive chaos when I'm doing this and this and this, and everything's working out really well? And 3 people have told me in the last week, I know this is a good person. They mean well. They want to, on this journey, do the best thing that's the highest version of themselves. But in some aspects, they're not doing it right now. And that means I have to disconnect. And it feels really unfair, guys. I've been through it. I know many of you are experiencing this, but there's something about what's going on right now and just being in a minutia of a way of misalignment in something, you know, in your diet, in your environment, people, places, and things, as I love to say, that where this minute misalignment, this minute energy that's coming from a person, and they could even be sending you the energy from 1,000 miles away, and they're not even in front of you. But every little thing in our environment does. Okay. Now, I've noticed when I can tell that someone is, maybe they're telepathically having a conversation with me. Maybe they're just thinking about me and sending me energy and not meaning to have a telepathic conversation. But when their energy of whatever they're thinking or feeling shows up, I hear something audible in sound, okay, which will come through as an energy. It also can come through as an energy of tension, okay? There's all kinds of tension. So think about things in a very neutral way. Don't say, oh, well, tension. So I'm talking about something negative. I'm saying people's thoughts and feelings about you from thousands of miles away can be heard and they can be felt. And this energy, when this sun opens up, this giant hole, it's right in the center of the sun. I've never seen anything like it, you guys. When that which has been created by that rip in the space-time continuum from the sun starts projecting that in our direction, this high tension is going to put people, these little minutia things, right, that don't feel like they would cause high tension will cause high tension for you. So if you're feeling that, I want you to know that in this energy, in this activation, in this crown activation, the minutia of what is out of alignment, even if it's in someone that you're like, okay, they're on the spiritual journey. I really love this person, or this person's a good friend. I know they're a good person. I want to be there for them, even though there's a portion of the work that they know they need to do, but they're not doing it. And I know that it's hard and I know that it feels unfair, but even the minutia or the minute misalignment in someone else's energy that's not doing the work is going to play a very big role in your energetic symbiosis with this other person. Because what they have found out is you get close to another soul. Many of you, we have gotten close, our souls have gotten close without even meeting, just talking over, Facebook videos or doing video chat on Facebook Messenger or doing readings that way. And you have this quantum energetic exchange that even if I don't see you in the future or talk to you in the future, and even if you don't knock on my door at Christmas time, I can feel your energy and hear your thoughts and read your mind. Because once two souls have come together energetically, doesn't have to be physical, we are forever changed. Okay. So quantum entanglement, I meet someone, okay, soul wise, fall in love with someone that I've never met. Okay. And then what happens when we have that energetic exchange? Quantum entanglement says that every time I do something that is joyous, that electricity of joy goes through our quantum entanglement from my physical essence, my mental, physical, spiritual essence of that love, of that soul bond, of that unification of heart energy that happened between us, that quantum entanglement. It never disentangles. It becomes connected energetically forevermore as long as I have that soul bond connection to you, right? It can't be disconnected. People think, oh, I can cut someone off and not talk to them, but you're not going to cut off quantum entanglement. And the most important thing about quantum entanglement says that once two souls have made that connection, even if it wasn't in the physical, that we send each other energy through some sort of a cord, right? So you're having a bad day, right? Once two souls have had quantum entanglement, you could be having a bad day and thinking negative thoughts, and that might show up to me. I might hear that. I might hear your thoughts. I might feel that energy. This is what we're all doing with everybody else. It's not the Tina and Tina show. Tina is here to tell you how this energy is representing and how it's going to show up as static fusion. Yes, exactly. So, high tension in the seat. Is it really that big of a deal that I'm staying connected to something that doesn't suit me? And the answer is absolutely 1,000,000% it is. So back to quantum entanglement momentarily. Once I have experienced this soul heart connection, even if it didn't happen physically, everything that I do to give myself healing, everything that I do to give myself a good laugh, bring myself into joy, watching comedy movies, whatever I'm experiencing energetically, say I'm watching a comedy and I'm having a great time and my energy is picking up and becoming very conducive to laughter and joy, that I'm sending laughter and joy through that energetic cord. Now, that person on the other end, unless they're like out in hyperspace and have no problems and no challenges and no chaos in their life, they're not going to be reading, oh, this is exactly what Tina's doing. She's watching a comedy and she's sending it symbiotically, through our heart and soul connection, right? But that's what I'm doing. So what quantum entanglement is saying is, whenever you're down in the dumps or feeling bad or sorry for yourself or sad or depressed or having a bad day, you are quantumly sending that energy to someone else. And people always say, well, what about not meeting that person? Or what about reconciling relationships? When you reconcile your life and when you reconcile that relationship you have with self, the person you're meant to have that relationship with, that energy will be reconciled. That person that's sharing that big, beautiful, lit up heart space, that soul space connection with you, every time you do something good for yourself, the person receives that energy. And again, they're probably not going to know that it's coming from you. Maybe they don't know anything about quantum entanglement. Okay. I know I didn't, right? But this was the message that came through after I had that heart merge with another person. That every time I do something great for myself, or every time I do something not great for myself, I'm sending energy to and from that other person. So when we're looking at the minutia of things, right, the small little itty bitty diggly little details, right, or the minute misalignment causing chaos or massive blockage, because when you have these soul connections with people, of course, you are getting uplifted and loving and all this stuff from them, and they are also getting it from you. Every time you take care of yourself, every time you better understand yourself, every time you work on your relationship with self, every time you address your personal issues trying to come up, every time you try to mend the relationship with self and be the highest version of yourself, you are feeding that other person energetically, right? So a lot of times, we'll have a miscommunication or an argument or a fight, or we're not speaking to someone anymore. And we want them to see how disrupted we are, how sad we are. Okay. But actually, that doesn't work as much as doing everything we can to be positive. And in this crown activation, taking all of that energy, that which is the rip in the space-time continuum, acclimating to it and letting go of the little minutia, right? The little teeny details in our life that are not joy. We do have to let them go. And I do understand, I felt this way in many situations myself. It's hard to disconnect. So people have, like, if they're being abused or not treated right in your relationship, we don't have any problem kicking someone to the curb or showing them the exit sign, right? But this has been happening for many months, and this crown activation is part of it. It is telling you that yes. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying don't be friends with someone because they don't have their shit together. That's not what I'm saying. The difference is, are you making an effort to understand, comprehend, and being the highest version of yourself? Or are you just looking for me to pick up your energy? Are you just looking for me to give you a boost? That's what I'm saying. And we do have to cut those people off right now that are sponging for the sole purpose of sponging. Wow, it feels really good to talk to this person. So I'm going to keep calling that person. And then the person on the other end of that is like, wow, I wish they'd do something about their health, or I wish they'd do something about their relationship, or I wish they'd do something about their job, or the things that are out of misalignment. But this crown activation is saying, if you want to fully understand and comprehend the highest version of self and what this DNA is actually giving you, then you need to let go of the little minutia of energy that's in a misalignment, because everything is being exaggerated. If you have a little, C-class solar flare, yes, they're going to have tension. Yes, they're going to have electromagnetic energy. Yes, they're going to have all these things happen. but it's not going to be the same amplification as an X-class solar flare, right? What I'm saying is there's some kind of reality mirror, okay? So in saying that, you don't have to be perfect, be in a relationship or a family dynamic or have conversations with people, but you need to understand and comprehend what you are currently dealing with physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and etherically yourself before you can help someone. Because a lot of people in this energy, in this crown activation, in this hot seat, are wanting to come to dump on you or complain to you or share some of their just static electricity because you're a good light and a good energy. They are wanting to do that, right? Like that person who messaged me and said, I'm vaguely familiar with their powers. And I can't help but saying that I feel like this giant rip in the center of the sun is directed at you. I haven't responded to that, and it's been 2 days. So this is a person who wants my energy, right? So the energy comes through one way. Let me offer you work. Oh, but I can't just give you a time and a place because that's not what I want to do. I want to keep you on the phone. I want to keep you engaged. And then I was like, you know what? No, thank you to the work. No, thank you, right? That's what I said to him. No, thank you. And then so he comes back with something else. Like he's just wanting a way to be in my life. If I say no, thank you to work, can I take you out to dinner? If I say no, thank you to that, then he tells me there's a rip in the space-time continuum and it's aimed at me. Anything to get my attention, right? And this started about 2 days ago. I'm telling you that's what's coming in with this. So, yes. Thank you. I'm trying to not be David Wilcock and make 3-hour videos any longer. Though the irony of all my mention of David Wilcock in my last video, and my last video was like 3 minutes longer than David Wilcock's. That's hilarious. I'm on here complaining about the length of his videos, and mine was actually longer than his. So thank you for being here. Know what's coming with this, okay? And this energy buildup from now until Christmas, you are in the hot seat. But if you're doing what you feel like is an alignment, the hot seat's going to feel like a warm and toasty holiday season, not an explosion or a fusion or a hot seat meltdown that you can't handle, which may be very different than what's coming to you from your friends, your family, and your coworkers. This energy, this rip in the sun, and this energetic bump in the space-time continuum is going to get really, really amped up. I would say, what is today? Today is the 9th. Within the next couple of days, it's already getting stronger, and you can expect the culmination of that on 12/21. Okay, be mindful, and be mindful that 12/21 is a very powerful alignment. Okay, in the system of stars in our universe, and it's a very brilliant time for clarity, for direction, for power, for all of you, okay? Anything that you can free yourself up out of before the 21st, perfect. So I had a friend and a client that was going to quit, but she was like, oh, I'm just going to take a little time off. I got some vacation time. I've got this, that, and the other, and I can do it. And that way I can have my state of mind and my clarity, and then I can come back and give my notice. And I'm like, is it going to make a financial difference to you whether you do it that way or whether you do it my way? And she said, no, the money's going to be the same. And I said, then do it my way. Anything that's the minutia of misalignment in your life, the minutia of misalignment with the highest version of yourself, do your best job to cut that off and ground yourself before 12/21. Because even though a C class shouldn't do that just much messing with the pattern of who we are in the space-time continuum, it is right now. Okay, and we can expect X-class solar flares to be created from this. We can expect many, many massive things that are not going to show up on charts. So you guys know when you start experiencing that it is true. But the importance of cutting off someone, even if they're 2,000 miles away and you haven't met them, or whatever the situation is, or it's a job, or it's a family dynamic, the little itty bitty things that you don't think are blockages, cut out all of those things that you possibly can before 12/21, because whatever's sitting in your energy field on 12/21 is going to Go out and pull in the manifestation of even the minutia of what's in your field. So if you have the choice of stopping something or breaking something or ending the pattern of something before 12/21, do it on or before 12/21, because you'll see a blast of power moving through your life, your personal power, your ability to manifest, and all of that. Okay, take that into consideration, these little things. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is the disruption of everyday routine. The disruption of everyday routine can come across as chaos. Oh wow, I was supposed to go to the grocery store, but now I have no car. That's what I mean by disruption to everyday reality. What I want you to know, though, what's coming through in this hot seat, this crown activation, this high tension, okay, is the fact that this high tension and all of this can create miracles and really, really fast energy. So while the minutia, small stuff, the misalignment is causing a massive blockage, whatever you let go of now up until the 21st is going to clear things. And this disruption of every routine, like, hey, I eat breakfast at this time, but now I have no power, for example. I'm not saying anything bad or anything negative is going to happen. I'm saying because of the energy of the sun and certain planetary alignments, we're going to have disruptions in everyday routine. When those disruptions happen to you, know it's happening because you'll be better served in the moment to not brush my teeth, but maybe, call my mom and have an energetic exchange instead. Or now I'm not going to the grocery store right now. I'm going to do this. So this energy is very conducive to high tension and disruption of everyday routine. When that everyday routine gets disrupted, whether it's the grocery store, dropping kids off at daycare, picking up your grandkids, whatever that disruption in everyday routine is, know, okay, in your heart and in your mind, that energetic disruption is for your highest good. Okay, so don't say, oh gosh, my car won't start right now, or there's this negative thing right now. Turn that around. I know that could be looked at as a negative thing, not helpful, but turn that around and saying, oh, this disruption, this hot seat, this high tension, this disruption of my everyday life routine is for a reason and a purpose. And everything is always working out for me. Disruption of everyday routine is so something bigger, better, and brighter can come through. And I'm not talking about major things. I'm just talking about maybe the power flickers when you're trying to, make cereal, or maybe the car won't start when you need to go pick someone up or do something. But I'm saying, look at these minor disruptions, this energy, this static tension, this hot seat as positive. Because when you're in that hot seat, when you have to make decisions, is when we make really good decisions. And our brain doesn't believe that because we want to make a list and check it twice. But we're not Santa Claus, and we don't need our mind to go over the intimate details. Any kind of daily disruption that's happening is happening for the highest good and the highest version of yourself. So I just wanted you to know that. I'll read your comments tomorrow when I go back in and watch this. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting me in the ways that you support me. If you're looking for personal one-on-one help, you can reach out to me through social media. If you are looking for help and you are in a hot seat and you want to dump all of your tension on me, I can't do that. I'm not willing to do that. Even if we're the best of friends, I'm not willing to work on anyone's behalf without being compensated energetically. And what I've decided to do, because this happens to me so much, not so much with YouTube, but a lot with Facebook when I do free readings, people think because I did a free, reading for them, that's the green light to dump everything on Tina. Okay. Please don't do that. I make videos at night. I get a lot of people then dumping their story or their energy or whatever. I'm happy to help you, but I'm doing that for an energy exchange because the amount of people that would like help with that is overwhelming. And I'm not working. I'm not working for free. Okay. And I do a lot of work for free on Facebook. I go on Facebook and give readings for free. So if you're wanting something, help with something, you can reach out to me through social media. And many of you have my personal information. Oh, Dawn, living light to dark. How's it going? A little late to the party there, rock solid. But you might want to watch this on replay because we're talking about some of what you and I talked about, which is minutia misalignment and the chaos or blockage that's happening from it. So much love, and dang it, I went over an hour again. And I will see you next time. All right. Goodbye.